The chapter that we are going to discuss today in English grammar is Adjectives, Degrees of Comparison. Boys, as you already know what are adjectives, you know that very well what are adjectives, we have done in our previous class. All the describing words are called adjectives. That means a word that describes a noun or a pronoun is called an adjective, right? Now, just go to this name of the chapter. Adjectives, degrees of comparison. So you understood what are adjectives. A word that describes a noun or a pronoun is called an adjective. So what do you mean by degrees of comparison? Is it very confusing? Nothing to get confused. Degrees here stands for the forms. Well, just to let you know, these adjectives change their forms when they show comparison. I'll just explain. Words that describe a noun or a pronoun are called adjectives. Now you follow with the definition. Further we will know, these adjectives change in form when they show comparison. These forms are called degrees of comparison. So boys, you need to know that these adjectives, when they do compare, they change their forms. And these forms are called degrees of comparison. Students, there are basically 3 degrees of comparison. That means 3 forms of comparison. That means adjectives make comparison in 3 different ways. The first form is called the positive degree of comparison. Then number 2, the second form is called the comparative degree of comparison. And the third one is called the superlative degree. Initially now, let's begin with the positive degree. Now this positive degree of comparison is the most simplest form of comparison. Why? Because here we do not find any comparison at all. That's the best part. That means it's a very simple way to put in. We have to know that there is only one word that describes the noun. So there is no confusion at all. So the positive degree is the most simplest form of comparison because there is no comparison at all and there is only one word that describes the noun or the pronoun. I'll just give you an example. For example, you see, Rahul is a tall boy. Here you have a common noun, boy. So which word is describing the boy? The word tall is describing the boy. It's showing that the boy is tall. Now this word you see, this is the only adjective in the whole sentence which is describing the boy. So since this is the only sentence, it is the only word in the sentence, hence we say that this is a positive degree because simply you can identify the adjective or the form of the comparison that is being made. So in this sentence you see, tall is the only adjective being used, hence this comes under positive degree. Another example, let's see. Jasmine is a pretty girl. The word pretty, this is an adjective which is describing the girl Jasmine. And there is no other word which is describing the girl Jasmine. So, it is showing that the girl Jasmine is pretty. She's beautiful. She's good looking. So, pretty is that one word. Hence, we see that in the positive degree, there is no comparison. There is only one word which is describing the noun. In the first example we have seen, tall is the only word which is describing the noun boy. In the second sentence we see, pretty is the only word which is describing the girl. Hence, we have known this positive degree is the most simplest. There is no comparison and there is only one word which describes the noun. Now we come to the comparative degree. Boys, you need to just go to this definition. I'll just explain. We use this form when we compare two people or things. In this form, we add ER to most of the adjectives to form their comparative degree. Students, in this form you have to remember that basically here a comparison is made between two people or things. There is a comparison between two people or things. In the first degree, there was no comparison at all. But in the second degree, which is called the comparative degree, here you have a comparison, you find the comparison between two people or things. Also, you have to remember that in this form of degree, you have to add er, which is called a suffix, er at the end of every adjective. Although there are exceptions which we will deal with later on, there are exceptions. Right now, as of now, just let me tell you that in the comparative degree, you have to add er to the end of every word. For example, just see, if the positive degree is bright, then the comparative degree will be brighter. How do you form this comparative form? You have to add